All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the fourth episode of Elder Zoomers Gaming Guild podcast. We have the usual suspects today, minus one president. Uh, Hope to see you here next week, buddy. All right,
One snoring president.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave him to a slumber.
It's hard running the country, man.
Yeah, right. You gotta get those Z's in. It's all good. So, we actually had some pretty awesome gaming news today, and I would like to jump into the first thing on my radar. All of these actually happened within the last 24 hours, so these are pretty breaking news.
Cool.
The first thing is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is the remastered Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 that came out earlier this year, I believe. That is coming to Game Pass later this month, and I think that's a pretty big get for the start of the year, because it's not even a year old. So, and you get 3 Mass Effect games. Those games are super long.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? We've all played Mass Effect, right? You guys? Oh, Nico, you haven't played Mass Effect.
I don't know, Nico, have you?
I haven't.
You haven't.
Okay, I know
right.
it's blasphemy for a gamer to not play Mass Effect.
That actually really surprises me for you in specific.
I know.
Yeah, that game is those games are up your alley.
I know.
They're super. They seem like they'd be really up your alley.
I know.
Well,
but I feel like it's kind of.
Oh, go ahead, Payne.
Oh, I was gonna say I feel like it's kind of. I don't know. If it was me and I hadn't started them, I probably need some push to start them. I'm kind of one of the. I can see how it'd be one of those things where it's like starting it'd be like starting Game of Thrones right now. It's a huge investment, It's 3 Mass Effect games.
Yeah, the first one isn't too long, but second and third are a little lengthy. But I mean, Nico, I know you've dumped hundreds of hours into some games, so
thousands.
All 3 of these games are probably
about need to get on this.
About 100.
I know.
But yeah, and I haven't actually played the Legendary edition yet, but I've heard they did a pretty good job of remastering the graphics. They were pretty top of the line when they came out during the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 era. But now, they look even better, and I know they have enhancements for I know that they support at least the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So, if you haven't played them yet, now's a good time to jump in. And if you have Game Pass, then it's no additional charge. So
I do have Game Pass.
Well, there you go, Nico. I think
I think you might just have gotten roped into playing Mass Effect.
I just got some homework, didn't I?
But for people who have played Mass Effect before, this is really exciting, because what we're going to get is like a rehash of all of these we're going to get a rehash of all 3 of these games that were, for me, basically the video game version of Lord of the Rings. I mean, they were epic to me.
The stories in a very
singular way.
Super good, and the choices that you make that affects and it carries through the different games, it's so cool.
I know it's there's mass effects that it has.
Yeah, I do believe that's the title of the series does kind of play on that a little bit.
Legendary Mass Effect.
BioWare, of course, is a fantastic developer. Mass Effect Andromeda was an unfortunate mishap, but
never played it.
They did BioWare did Dragon Age. They did and Anthem was kind of a mishap too, but we're not gonna get into that. Dragon Age was really good. They also did Knights of the Old Republic, which was like their first big RPG.
Oh, did they?
I did play Dragon Age Origins, I think it was.
Oh, okay, I think,
or maybe it was Dragon Age 2. One of the two.
Oh, okay, I haven't played.
And I really enjoyed it. It was pretty great.
Games. I need to play those.
I played Origins and Inquisition, and Inquisition was very, very fun.
Really?
Yeah, it was very fun. I
remember that one having bad press when it first came out.
Yeah, I
actually don't remember that.
It's one of those things where it's like the story felt so good to me that honestly, I probably did overlook some of the holes in the gameplay.
It was a cross-gen game. It released right at that time when the Xbox One and PS4 had just come out, but a lot of developers were still supporting the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And so I think it was one of those games where, cross-gen is always hard because those consoles are very different from each other. So trying to make a game for both, there can be a lot of technical issues. And with that generation specifically. So I think I'm sure there were some bugs with it. Trying to get that game to run on a PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, I imagine, was quite a challenge.
And Garrett, do you know if Mass Effect 3 was cross-gen?
It wasn't. It released right before, or 2012. Yeah, so about a year and a half or so before the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 came out, I believe.
That feels right to me. So again, I mean, another exciting component about like this package is that like we're gonna get to play Mass Effect on the most recent consoles.
Yeah.
Completely fresh.
And the game was actually built for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So those versions run really well too. It's just if you have the newer ones, then it plays a little bit better. But it's not like Cyberpunk where you can tell the game wasn't really meant so much to run on the older consoles. It was meant more for it had trouble running on those consoles, whereas Mass Effect, I heard, doesn't have that problem.
Can't tell if I'm playing Mass Effect or Star Wars Republic Commando on my Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's polygons. No,
so yeah, I mean, I think for I know I bring up Game Pass a lot, but I think, I mean, I am a subscriber of Game Pass. We all are now.
We all are.
Peyton recently hopped on the bandwagon, and I mean, the value just keeps going up. It's like, man, $15 a month and you get all this. Like, it's crazy. It's like there's almost too much to play. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming to Game Pass, huge win in my opinion. Great way to kick off the year. I'm sure Microsoft is trying to get as many subscribers as they can, and starting off the new year, getting that is a huge, a big deal in my opinion.
Totally. Well, and this kind of stuff is the right move, right? If you're gonna have games I like that they have games that are new too. Like you've got Back for Blood on there and everything, but bringing a game series like Mass Effect onto Game Pass is a great way to get subscribers. I mean, there are so many people who it's Mass Effect to me was always one of those series where it's like the fan base isn't the same as like a Halo fan base where there's a lot of ongoing continued fan engagement. It's one of those things, well, like the Lord of the Rings movies or something, where it's like, if you went through all of them, you were touched by those games and they always hold like that special place in your heart. Like Crysis, right? Like there's, I would consider myself an active Crysis or an active Mass Effect fan, even though I haven't played any in a really long time.
Yeah.
Because
me too.
They're some of the first games that'll come to my mind when I think of epic console games. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that actually is kind of a good segue for the next topic. I always forget that Ubisoft Plus exists because I feel like not a lot of people talk about it. It's been on PC for like a year now, I think, maybe a little bit longer. Basically, you pay this monthly subscription. Whenever a new Ubisoft game comes out, it gets thrown into the service and you can play it. Ubisoft does make a lot of games, so I mean, they have Ghost Recon, they have Far Cry, they have
Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed.
Thank
you. I'm
like the big one.
Watch
What's one of the big ones?
Yeah.
I feel like we're missing something.
Yeah, Watch Dogs is also on there. So they crank out.
What's that looter shooter they had? Division.
Oh yeah, Division. Also another one.
Division.
Yeah. So I mean,
they make a lot.
They have. Ubisoft is one of those really big developers. They crank out a lot of games. So, if you like all of those game series, then I mean, this is probably, I don't know how much Ubisoft Plus costs per month, but I'm guessing if you play a lot of those games, it's probably worth your money. But now it's they're going to be making an app for Xbox, and I think that's a bigger deal than people realize. And here's the reason why. EA also has a couple of subscription services very similar, and one of them, EA Play, came to Xbox as an app, as it worked on PC, which was really cool. But then
isn't that included in Game Pass or something?
Yeah. So EA Play ended
Yes.
up joining in with Game Pass, and so with your Game Pass subscription, you were
Oh
also getting
shit.
access to EA's whole library of legacy games. And I'm thinking it's very possible, depending on how good Ubisoft Plus does on Xbox, they may also join up with Microsoft and include that in Game Pass as well. It's not guaranteed, but I think it's very possible given that that happened with EA Play and no one expected that. That just was like, oh, wow, okay. So all of a sudden you have all the old Battlefield games. You had the not Mass Effect Legendary edition, but you had the backwards compatible Xbox 360 versions of those games on there. Anthem was in there, which people didn't really care about, but was also made by EA, partially I think published. But yeah, so then you got access to a bunch of EA games with your Game Pass subscription, which was really cool. And so I think it's very possible that somewhere down the line that could happen with this Ubisoft Plus also. Now that it's on Xbox, that first major step has been taken. So
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it. We saw it happen with EA Play, and now I think it could happen with Ubisoft. And I think that would be very interesting, especially because Ubisoft cranks out a lot of games. And if that's even more games going into Game Pass, I mean, the value has just gone up again, you know?
And Nico, did you see anything on this? Have you seen anything on this at all?
No,
This
it's
just
news
happened
to me.
like
Online?
yesterday, I think.
Oh, okay.
Was when they
All right.
announced the app was coming to Xbox. Yeah, all of this was very recent.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was gonna say I haven't seen like a lot on this, and I know that Ubisoft, you get a amazing library of games. So like if that's added on, it's just a huge amount of content that we have access to. It would be worth checking in on how much, like with subscriptions becoming more of a thing in like the gaming sphere. I
I'm
mean,
gonna look up how
you
much
know,
Ubisoft
that's
Plus costs.
that's kind of the case with most things now. I feel like it can be tricky to kind of like pick and choose what subscriptions you subscribe to.
Yeah.
But I don't
Absolutely.
know. I feel like something like Ubisoft, like having a Ubisoft Plus library of games, it'd probably be worth it. But I don't know.
Oh,
It
yeah.
depends on how much it is.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm on their website right
Also
now.
depends if you're a fan of Ubisoft.
True. Kind of makes me think of how like like video streaming now. How it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you would get a cable package that has all these different things in it.
Mhm.
And then, streaming was like this awesome alternative. And now there's everyone and their fucking mother has their own streaming service. It's like, well, we're
Yeah.
just back to where we started.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
and you get services like Game Pass, which are package deals. You can
Yeah,
get Disney
exactly.
Plus.
That's what I'm
you can get
saying.
some
It's like,
Hulu.
we need streaming services to start doing what Xbox is doing here.
Yeah.
Just bundle shit.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Ubisoft Plus is $15 a month. So
Fuck. It's the same as
if
Game
that
Pass.
did end
Okay.
up
Or no.
down the line that does join with Game Pass, then that's basically doubling the value of Game Pass, I feel like.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, that's insane because Game Pass Ultimate is also 15, and then just standard Game Pass is 10, but you should get Ultimate because with that you also get Xbox Live Gold, which is
So for the listeners, I don't know
Xbox Game Pass.
correct me if this is wrong, because I know this worked for me back in the day. Anyone who's listening, if you have like a prepaid gold membership right now, upgrade to Game Pass Ultimate for like the $1 for that promotion. I don't know if that's still going on. It automatically changes all that Xbox Gold time you have over to Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I can actually
like a free
attest to that.
2 years or something. It was great.
No,
wow.
I can actually attest to that because that's what I did the other day.
Oh, really?
I upgraded I was like, okay, I'm just gonna buy a month of Game Pass and like, crank out a bunch of games, turn off auto subscription so that it doesn't renew, and then I'll just get my enjoyment out of Game Pass in a month. I update it and then I go to my profile to like make sure, and it says, a Game Pass expiring at the time when my gold is going to expire, which is September of this year, 2022. So I thought I was getting Game Pass for a month, and I've now got Game Pass for an entire year. And I never hear anyone talk about that.
Yeah.
So
that's
a great thing you brought up.
Yeah,
in the day,
that was a big deal. I remember seeing it a lot on Twitter. What ended up happening with me was I bought Game Pass Ultimate right when the subscription went live, and my Xbox Live Gold was running out right around that time, so I just swapped over. I didn't
Oh,
really
okay.
get to take advantage of that, but I know people that were just buying like Xbox Live Gold cards, like the $60. They were just buying them up and then converting them, and they had like 3 years of Game Pass. And like paid paid up like for, which I mean, if you do the
Very
15
nice.
bucks a month for Game Pass Ultimate, that's $180 a year. So only paying 60, I mean, you're getting it 66% off basically,
Yeah.
by doing that, which is absolutely insane. But
Mhm.
yeah, I do know they're. I'm sure Microsoft by now has been, they're kind of trying to figure out how to not have people do that. But I
Yeah.
do know if you had gold paid for a while and you decided to switch to Game Pass, then it does convert it
I think it's like
automatically.
up to 3 years is the
Yeah,
hard cap on that.
I think so. Which I mean makes sense. By
Fair.
supporting Game Pass, you're also supporting developers that put their games in Game Pass day one. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying it.
Yeah, I
But
think
it is
the only
nice to
thing
get
actually,
some savings on that. Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
So one of the other topics that I had for us, and this actually happened. It was like yesterday afternoon. So Sony unveiled some more details about the second generation PlayStation VR headset. They kind of gave us like the specifications of it. They showed off the Sense controllers, which are all new. Now, the original PlayStation VR came out in 2016. It launched alongside the PlayStation 4 Pro, and the headset itself was pretty cool. I do own it. I don't really play it all that much, but I do own it. And but the controllers for the original PlayStation VR were the PlayStation Move controllers, which were from the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
So they were. I feel like they were a little lazy with that. They just kind of recycled that. But they're building this headset, from scratch. They're making it as up to date as possible, which I'm excited for because I think what made the PlayStation VR, the original one, wasn't so much its technology, it was the games. Because the first generation PlayStation VR had some really like great exclusive games put out by Sony Studios. And a lot of their games would have VR modes, like Gran Turismo Sport had a VR mode. For people who like racing, that was a really big deal. And alongside this PlayStation VR 2 announcement, we also got to see a very short demo of one of the games that is going to launch with it, and that is oh gosh, what's it called? It's Horizon.
Yo.
Like Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon Forbidden West. They're making a VR game set in the Horizon world.
Wait, for real?
Fucking
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
For
and
real?
it's gonna be
shit.
built for PSVR 2.
Wait,
Okay, that's on
wait,
the
would that
list
make
of
hold
anticipated
up,
things.
I'm confused. Is that gonna make Horizon like first person then?
Yeah, the demo was first person.
She
The
like dodge rolls. How is that gonna work?
How do you
I
think
don't
it's
know.
gonna
I'm
work,
guessing
motherfucker? You gotta dodge roll and you gotta have
the
a big
gameplay
ass-
is gonna be
seen,
very
like,
different.
First person mods for Dark Souls. It looks weird as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
That's
sure
gonna give me so much nausea trying to do that in VR.
Yeah, no,
Then don't play it in VR.
I'm guessing it's gonna play totally different from the Horizon games. I'm guessing there's not gonna be a whole lot of combat. It's probably gonna be more of like an experience, just like going through and just kind of looking at things and doing some interactions.
Okay, fair.
I mean, I don't know. We just saw a very short trailer for it, but we do know that Aloy is in the game. She's just not the character you play as. You are playing as someone else, so you're seeing a piece of that world essentially from a different perspective, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
actually
always really fun. I mean, it's like reading Twilight from Edward's perspective is very well received. I mean, it's seeing this world through the eyes of like a tertiary character is going to be really cool. I think even if there is a stripped down like system of game mechanics,
yeah,
it'll
and a
still
lot
be
of VR
fun
games
to
do
be in that world.
Yeah, a lot of VR games, they change the way things work from a regular game because it's just too hard to make some of that stuff work. Shooters work really well in VR, but
Oh
third
yeah,
person
the Resident Evil
action-adventure
4.
games, not so much. But I think Horizon Call of the Mountain, that's what it's called.
Call of the Mountain, okay.
I think Horizon Call of the Mountain is going to really try to just bring something new in that world that already exists. You see, I think Nico, help me out with this. Are they called tall necks? Or what are those things called? Is
Pretty sure.
Like the big giraffe.
yeah, the big
thingies
giraffe things with the
solar
discs on their
panels.
heads that you like leap onto? I think they're called like tall necks or something like that. You see one of those in the demo, just like walking by, and it's just like, from the first person, it's like, oh my gosh, what's that? And the characters are just like, oh, that's what is. I think the character you play as is like new to all this, so they're just like, whoa. But yeah, I mean, just seeing that, in that video was like, man, I can't wait to see this in VR. Like, it's gonna be incredible, I think. And
So,
oh, go ahead.
Question: what do you guys think is going to be the reception of that compared to like these third-party VR systems like Oculus? Like, what do you guys think how are they going to butt? How are they going to butt heads?
So here's my whole thing. So when Oculus and HTC Vive were out in 2016, earlier in the year, I believe, and they were kind of the ones that were very established, and PlayStation VR was kind of the new kid on the block. The technology was more limited to the PlayStation hardware, whereas the Oculus and HTC Vive, they were meant for gaming PCs, so their games were capable of having better graphics than the PlayStation VR. But what made PlayStation so good, as I had said earlier, was the games. Because Sony, they published so many games, and they put out some really good games for the PlayStation VR, and I think that's what made the headset competitive, was not its graphics or its wireless capabilities or anything like that. The PlayStation VR, the original, has so many wires. It's ridiculous. This new one only has one, supposedly. The PSVR 2 is only gonna have one wire, which is really nice. The Oculus Quest 2 is completely wireless if you want it to be, or you can hook it up to a PC, which gives you potential for better graphics. But I think, as with the first generation, I think this second generation of PlayStation VR is going to be competitive. I do think its technology is going to be more in the ballpark of what we have with these other companies. I think they're being more competitive with the competition, because the PlayStation 5 is a very powerful console. It is, equivalent of a pretty decent PC. But then you're going to have Sony putting out all these games for the headset and supporting it that way. And now that they have these series that are very established, like Horizon, it's going to get people to buy it. If you played Horizon Zero Dawn, and and next month we're going to get Horizon Forbidden West, they've established themselves in these games, and I could see them totally doing a God of War VR experience game, or a Ghost of Tsushima VR game. I mean, they can do that because they make these games, and now they can translate that into VR.
VR Shadow Warrior.
That would be fun, but I don't think
that would be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think Sony makes Shadow Warrior, but I would love to see that, though.
But something like that would be crazy.
Have you guys played VR before?
I have a little bit.
I have two now with after Christmas break.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I went home for Christmas, and when I spent some time with my dad's side of the family, my cousin actually, he has an Oculus and set it up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Holy shit, my dude! It
VR
is
freaking cool.
No, it's
right?
supposed to be it's supposed
I played Beat Saber for the first time, dude.
Immersive.
I need an Oculus now. It was so much fucking fun.
Have you seen the gameplay of Resident Evil 4 or Resident Evil 7 was on VR too?
Yeah, also on PlayStation VR.
It looks insane. It literally looks like it's just happening around you.
It's fucking I don't know how to. There's no way to describe it. When you put on the headset, you are there.
Yeah.
You are in it. It's VR.
He's coming.
It's it should be simple to explain, right?
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's
like
your sensory because like you're turning
it's
your
virtual
head,
reality, right?
and then your camera's turning, so it's like
Yeah.
it feels more real because now you are controlling things, not just with your fingers, but with your
Yeah.
head and your arms, and it's just like, oh whoa, we
It's
and
like
we've been leading up to
it's
this
so
technology for
weird,
so
man.
long. You look at the Wii, with its
Yeah,
controllers,
I had
and
that
then
shit.
and PlayStation Move, and then the Kinect came out, and it's like, okay, forget the controllers. Now you're the controller. That was the whole marketing thing. You are the controller, right? And now
Sorry,
it's
Xbox, I love you, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Kinect was a bit of a blunder,
Connect
but
was.
they
we did get
tried.
some
Well,
cool games though.
here's the thing though, is the gaming. This was inevitable for gaming to get to this point because if you,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know if you guys know, like in the mythology of gaming consoles, there's this one console called like it's called like the Red Boy or something strange. It was like this weird visor on a stand that you put your eyes up to play games through, and it flopped because like people said that if you played it for more than 20 minutes it felt like acid was being poured into your eyes. But
Jeez.
this was like an early VR attempt back in the days of like N64.
Oh,
So
okay.
people have wanted this to be a thing in video games for a long time, and
Oh
we're
yeah.
finally at the place where not only is it possible, it's good.
Yeah.
It's actually,
It's
and if
damn good.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even decent. It's good.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. I think Garrett, you make a really good point with the whole Sony thing. I feel like we're going to be seeing a lot of games where it's like, okay, we're going to make an offshoot of God of War. It's going to be
Yeah.
VR. We're going to make an offshoot of Horizon. It's going to be
Yeah, and they know that. I mean,
VR.
they're gonna sell. They're gonna sell their VR that way because people like these
Totally.
games already.
They'll sell the
That's
games
why
and
they.
they'll sell VR.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
and that's the reason why Sony was the new kid on the block and was immediately successful was because they were already so established. They already had the PlayStation
Yeah.
name,
Mm-hmm.
which has been around since the 90s.
Mhm.
And once you start getting all these games from these, popular franchises, their work's cut out for them. Now they just got to make the games.
Yeah.
They already have, the brand. And so Oculus does have exclusive games as well, because they're
Mhm.
backed by Facebook now and the whole Meta thing.
Yeah.
Only downside to the Oculus is that you do have to have a Facebook account.
Really?
Yeah, you do have
I
to have a
didn't know
Facebook
that.
account to log
Fuck
in.
that, dude.
So yeah, that's the only downside. But
So
That's
the guy gets
literally
all
the
his memes from
equivalent.
Facebook.
That is literally the fucking equivalent of like of Xbox being like, okay, hey guys, we have a VR headset, and the only way that you're going to be able to play it is if you sign in with your Instagram. That's the fucking equivalent.
Yeah. Well, Instagram's
so
actually owned by
owns
Facebook also,
Yeah.
but no, I
you
see
know
your
what I
point
mean,
though.
though. You know what
No,
I
no,
mean?
no.
Yeah,
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 I
like
got
if
you.
you had to
signing
make
into
like a
something with
Bing
social
account or
media.
something, it's like
Yeah,
right.
like
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah,
But
no, it's weird, but um yeah, I mean, I like seeing more competition come in with VR because I mean, for me, like I personally still prefer, just my controller and my TV, but I think that's just because VR for me personally, VR isn't quite there yet. Like I played
Mhm.
Skyrim VR on
Oh
on
God.
the PlayStation VR, and it was really fun.
Mhm.
But I noticed like it, and that game is like just a straight port. Like it plays exactly the same as it does on console. It's just you're in VR. Um, but I found like it would take me longer to do certain things. Like I'm looking at the map and I'm trying to find where to go, but because it's in VR, I'm just kind of like, and so it's just like, I'd rather play this like on, I would rather just play it, on my TV. But for games that are made specifically for VR, I think that is where VR really shines. Not so much the games that are
totally.
translated into VR so much. That can be done really well. They did a Doom VR. They did a Fallout VR, which I think was Fallout 4 converted into VR. Bethesda really got into it. They did a bunch of their games. And Oculus would come out with some exclusive games. They had Vader Immortal, which was a VR series. It was exclusive to Oculus VR headsets for a while, and then I think last year it actually came to PlayStation VR. So they,
Okay.
it eventually made its way over to some other headsets, but so Oculus and PlayStation I think are going to be really duking it out over the next few years to, become the household name. And I think as PlayStation 5 consoles become more available and get into more people's homes, that's just going to make the PlayStation VR even more of a competitor. As of right now, though, I do think Oculus, they have most of the market, I think, right now. But
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see if that changes over the next few years, because Sony is bringing the game.
Yeah.
And I think it just depends on the quality of the game that gets put out. I think you're totally right, Garrett. It's their competitive ability is definitely going to come from their games. And it's good, that there's competition in the field, because it's going to mean that both, well, I say both, but there's probably going to be more than just two producers of like high quality VR. But the more the merrier, because then everybody's going to try and improve. Everybody's going to try and beat out the next person, and then what we the consumers going to get to see is like a pretty solid VR product.
Yeah, I mean,
so
competition.
I'm
is
excited
good for the
VR
consumer.
future.
Yeah, because I mean, when there's more competition, we just get better products out of it.
We get freshness. Yeah, exactly.
True.
So
yeah.
And I do like the translations. I'll say personally that games that are translated onto VR are very enjoyable, because you are getting that like next level experience. I would love to play Skyrim or Fallout in VR, but I would love to play it in the medium, or in the middle position, where it's not a direct port. It's also not completely different. It's like the game adapted and mutated to be VR.
I think the best way to go about it is what Sony is doing with Horizon, where they're making a separate game in that series, but it's built for VR specifically.
Yes.
I think that is where
VR
really
you have to build it from the ground up to be in VR. Honestly.
Yeah, what Bethesda did with Fallout, Skyrim, and Doom is the game is exactly the same. It's just now you're playing it in VR. And because Doom is so fast paced, I feel like reaction times can be a little bit slower in VR, and same thing can kind of go for Skyrim or Fallout. And so that for me is where I think it kind of not that they're bad. I think those games they work in VR, but I don't think it's as good as seeing a game that's built from the ground up specifically for it. That is where VR really shines, in my opinion, and I hope we get a lot of VR games in the next upcoming years. I think Oculus will continue cranking out original content, and hopefully some of that eventually makes its way over to PlayStation VR, similar to Vader Immortal. But also PlayStation's going to be making their games, so it's going to be exciting, honestly. I think within the next I remember a lot of journalists were saying like 2016 was going to be the year of VR, because PlayStation VR was coming out, and it did definitely get more on the grid. VR became a little bit more mainstreamed, but I still think it's far from, most gamers I think are still playing keyboard and mouse or controller and TV, I think, for the most part. But that could change.
What's up, I totally forgot about this. Like, just talking about all this VR stuff brought back this core memory. Arc did a VR thing. It's like a separate game called Arc Park, and it's kind of like I remember seeing the ads for that. Yeah, it was almost like a Jurassic Park kind of deal, right? Where it's just like, here's all the dinosaurs and stuff, like you can walk around. And I'm watching the trailer for it now. It looks like there's like actual gameplay of it. It's not just like the sit in the ride and experience it.
But it's like an actual game.
A lot of fucking awesome.
A lot
mixed reviews, obviously, but it looks fun. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like a lot of developers jumped onto VR like a few years ago when it was starting to really pick up traction. But not all of them, or I would even say not a lot of them, were very successful. And I think that's where the growth of VR kind of slowed a little bit. But with PlayStation VR 2 coming out hopefully within the next couple years, so I am going to go over the
technicalities,
all the nerd shit for the PlayStation VR 2.
All that nerdy shit.
All right.
Let's go. Let's dig into it, boys.
I remember a little bit.
Let's dig into it.
So I remember a little bit.
Jump right into it.
I remember a little bit of the specifications from the original PlayStation VR.
Mm.
It used the Move controllers. I don't remember the degree of field, whatever they call that, or the or like the camera situation. But I do know the screen itself in the VR headset was just regular HD. It was like 1080p or whatever. But this new one is actually going to be 4K, which is
Ooh.
it's gonna look really good.
Sounds crisp.
And it also moves between 90 and 120 hertz. I think the first PlayStation VR was only 90 hertz, so that'll improve just the fluidity of what's happening on screen. Always good. This new one is also going to have eye tracking, which I think is going to help with responsiveness through the games themselves, and they'll be able to probably integrate and program that in, which will be really cool.
This all sounds very dangerous to your eyes.
Well, I mean, you're not going to see the tracking happening. It's going to be happening behind the scenes.
You know where my head went?
What?
So if you ever watched one of those like list videos on YouTube where it's like, 10 achievements you're embarrassed to have or whatever. Well, there's one on that list. There's one on that list where it's Lollipop Chainsaw, where if you angle the camera right, she does like a flip or whatever, you will see up her skirt and you get an achievement unlock that says something like roasting you for it.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So I'm thinking eye tracking. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Spend 10 minutes looking only at a NPC's cleavage. They'd be able to give you an achievement for that.
They could.
Oh yeah.
They could.
No, they would. They totally would.
That would not be that difficult, actually.
No, I'm sure they'll have some fun with that.
Mika becomes a game developer just to make that happen.
Generous, yeah, love it.
Oh yeah. The really cool thing, which I'm the most excited about with this, I think, is so as I had previously stated, the PlayStation VR first generation used the PlayStation Move controllers, which were not so great. They were made for the PlayStation 3. They served to be competition to the Wii and the Xbox, but they were just okay. But this new PlayStation VR 2 is actually going to have a controller with some of the technology in the DualSense controller on the PlayStation 5. So it's gonna have like the headset, and I think the controllers are gonna have like more accurate like a vibration system. It says here, I'm actually reading Sony's vlog specifically. They talk about in-game actions that amplifies sensations. I am literally just thinking of VR porn the whole time.
I was thinking
you get
fucking full dive step, my guy.
You get a shot in. You get shot in the head and it like zaps your skull or something.
I think you just feel like a little vibration on the skull, but yeah, I think that's
insane.
Like I think that's kind of cool though. Yeah.
Produces. You walk through a sewer or like a toxic level and it produces a shit smell. Like it's like 4D.
4D.
I've actually always wanted to have like a full dive kind of thing. Like you get hurt in the game, you feel it.
Oh yeah.
I know
Microsoft had a patent for like a suit, and it was supposed to go with the Kinect, where like there would be like different vibration sensors on it. But I don't think I think after
imagine playing COD with that shit.
Who the fuck
shot in the back? Oh fuck,
I mean,
yeah. That would be cool.
There's people that would buy that, but like, who
I'd
the
buy
fuck
that.
would buy that?
Yeah, VR has to come a long way before I start investing in something like that.
I mean,
Yeah,
fair, but like the tech idea is fucking awesome, and I want it.
Yeah. Okay. And pretty much the last thing here, and I probably should have said this a little bit earlier, but the VR headset does also have 110 degree field of view. So I think a little bit of a wider angle, which will be good. You can fit more onto the screen.
Yeah,
it's always a good thing. But yeah, this headset is basically an improvement across the board, which is good because again, the first VR headset from PlayStation was limited by the PlayStation 4's hardware capabilities. It was basically like a low to medium spec PC. So with having the technology of the PlayStation 5, I think will make this headset a lot better. Now, there is one thing that, as of right now, does not have an answer. That could change by the time this, gets uploaded. But and I looked extensively for an answer for this because it's something I'm very curious to know. And Sony has been pretty quiet about it, so I hope that doesn't mean bad news. I have some PlayStation VR games that I haven't played yet
Oh.
because I'm waiting to see if the new one's going to be backwards compatible with those older games, because they would probably look and play better on the new headset. But if the technology is extremely different, it might not be compatible. So
I wouldn't hold your breath, honestly.
I know,
Yeah.
and
Plus,
I
PlayStation's
have,
history with backwards compatibility.
yeah,
I mean,
it's not good. I have a little bit of hope just because PlayStation 4 games are backwards compatible with the PlayStation 5. If you have the disc console or game digital, you can just play it, and it just works. And the PlayStation VR headset, the first generation, is compatible with the PlayStation 5. So with that in mind, I think it's slightly possible, but again, with how much the technology has changed with this new one, I'm not holding my breath either. But I do really want it to be backwards compatible, because otherwise I'm gonna have to plow through all these games so I can sell the old headset and then get the new one.
Yeah.
Because the PlayStation VR was not cheap. It was like $350 or $400. It's basically like buying a whole console.
That's the big thing that has stopped me from getting VR. Actually, I was
Yeah, the
waiting to say that. Is
price.
it's like it's not even the case that I'm like waiting for it to get better. I'm just waiting for it to get cheaper. I still
Yeah.
see it as I see it as a console accessory. I don't think it should be a console unto itself. The Oculus, you could maybe make the case, but you're still not playing games that are made well. You are playing games made specifically for it, but it feels different. It doesn't feel like a console.
Yeah.
I would argue
So-
that does feel more like a console than like an
Yeah.
accessory,
Yeah, well,
especially the
'cause
Oculus.
the Oculus is kind of an ecosystem. Like, it has its
Well, no,
own
that's-
library of games, and
Well, that's what I'm saying is that the
Yeah.
Oculus it has a stronger case for being considered a console than the Sony VR being priced at a console level. I don't think that Sony VR should be $300. It seems more like an
Yeah.
accessory to me.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I
I
think
don't know
the
if you disagree or
technology
not.
justifies the price. They're expensive to build, but yeah,
Yeah.
price is definitely, the price of admission is something you always have to consider. The thing about Oculus 2 is that with the Oculus Quest 2, they I think the cheapest model is only like 200, I want to say. And I think if you want more storage, it goes up to 300. So, but that's because
Wow.
the headset actually has a
That's
processor
nice.
in the headset. So you don't actually have to connect it to a console. You can connect it to a PC to have better graphics. But the headset itself can run games natively, so you don't have to have any wires. That plus the cheaper price, I think, is why Oculus really took off. Because they moved in the direction people wanted. They wanted it to be more accessible, they wanted it to be cheaper, and that's what Oculus did. Now, of course, if you're just playing on the headset itself, the graphics aren't amazing. I think the processor they used was from one of the more recent Android phones, so it wasn't bad, but you're not gonna get like good console or PC quality of games, at least in terms of the graphics. But if you have a Quest 2 and you have a gaming PC, you can hook it up and you get better graphics. So
that to me sounds like the best situation.
Yeah. I considered getting a Quest 2. I really, and I still have kind of considered it, but I don't think, because I barely ever even played my PlayStation VR, the first gen, so it's like I'm not gonna get two headsets. It's gonna get one or the other. And with that Horizon game right now, I'm definitely looking at the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna guide my path for sure on like what to get, because I have been wondering about VR, and I think the big thing for me is just like waiting for the games that I want to see out on VR. And Oculus has fun games and whatnot, but I mean, seeing games like Resident Evil come out, or seeing games that are all new, that are built specifically for like a VR set. I don't know. I got to be enticed by them, because that's the thing, is it's not just the price. It's a combination of the price and the amount of games there. I don't want to buy it and then only have like a couple of games that I would actually like to play on it. Maybe if they were able to be played a lot. I mean, I do kind of do that on console. I'll pick up a game that has like a really heavy amount of replayability or something, and I'll drill it.
Oh,
So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
tricky. I feel like Oculus is kind of a tricky buy.
VR in general, I think right now is a tricky buy, but in the
Yeah.
next few years, I think better games, potentially cheaper prices, and better accessibility. I think it's very possible that VR will get into more people's homes within the next
So
few years.
guys, they said that 2016 was going to be the year of VR. Do you
Mm.
think that 2022 or 2023 is going to be the year of VR?
The PlayStation VR 2 comes out, I think it'll be a lot. I think it has potential to be the year of VR. I'm not going to say it's guaranteed, but I think it has potential. I really do.
Nico?
Honestly, I have no idea.
That's okay.
It's a maybe from me, I think.
Yeah.
It's a maybe.
I think for me, the criteria is when we start to see a boom of like multiple producers of VR trying to really like drive the market on it, then I feel like it's going to be the year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I agree. With
so I would say 2022. I don't think we're there yet.
No. 2023 maybe. That might be the beginning of the ascent of just VR is just going like this.
I like
and
that.
Just it's taking off more.
Yeah,
I definitely think that's possible.
Didn't they just release a Half-Life game for the Oculus?
That was actually 2020. It was like January or February of 2020 was when I actually just saw that like earlier today. Like
really?
Yeah. It's
that was
a little
huge deal. I remember hearing about like the rumors, like, oh my god, Half-Life.
It was a big thing.
They're actually making Half-Life 3. What the fuck?
Yeah, everybody thought it was going to be Half-Life 3, and then psych.
It was a VR game. It's like okay, but it was a very good
really
VR
fun.
Game. So
yeah,
it was a very
fun.
well received VR game. So hey, I'll take it. I would like to play it sometime because I have played the Half-Life games and I am still waiting for Half-Life 3.
I mean, everybody's waiting for Half-Life 3, dog.
And we're all waiting for it.
Looking for Mr. I'm trying to see Mr. Freeman again.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last thing I wanted to talk about tonight, and this is something that we could talk about for several hours, but I want to try to keep each game, as condensed as possible. And that is the games that we are looking forward to coming out this year.
That should be its own podcast, my guy.
Oh yeah. I mean, we can, as these games release, we'll talk about them. But I just want to kind of briefly cover some of the big ones.
Like a short, like my top 3 or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll say my top 3, and they're all coming out in February, of course.
Yep.
Horizon Forbidden West, Elden Ring, and Dying Light 2. And I will say I have a number 4, which is God of War Ragnarok. I think that's coming out towards the end of the year. But so many games that have been delayed were delayed from 2021 into 2022. So now we're just gonna have so many games coming out this year that I'm excited for. But I want to hear from you guys. What games are you most looking forward to coming out this year?
I have a list on my phone.
Oh
god, I have lists for everything.
Yes, wow.
Yeah.
Read your list. I'd love to see it.
Yeah,
so
read your
list.
This
was I made this before Halo Infinite came out, so I have I have them ordered chronologically.
Yeah.
So we got Halo Infinite and then DLCs for Arc and Warframe. The first actual game on here is Elden Ring, which is my number 1. Like there's not even close. Any of these I fucking love the Borderlands franchise. Might be one of my favorites ever made. Nothing compared to Elden Ring. That is just my number 1 game by far. After that, Forbidden West, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I'm super hyped for.
Oh yeah.
That's just gonna be a fun fucking game. Starfield I was actually slated for November.
November 11th. Yeah, it's actually coming out on Skyrim's
11/11/22, which is interesting, right?
Yeah.
Exactly 11 years after Skyrim.
Yeah.
They do. I've also got some games on here that are like TBD 2022, so maybe they'll release.
Okay.
We got Ragnarok, God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be. I'm betting on fall. They said just sometime this year, but I'm assuming it's gonna be fall probably.
Hogwarts Legacy. Remember that game?
Oh yeah,
that's supposed to release this year at some point.
Wow.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be.
Hopefully.
Arc 2, baby.
Oh yeah,
We're
Arc
getting
2.
Arc 2, motherfuckers. Let's go.
I mean, we get Vin Diesel in a video game. Like,
Vin Diesel's the main character, my guy. It's gonna be great.
Oh my gosh.
Playing Santiago. I could go in. I could have a whole fucking podcast on Arc lore if I really wanted to, but anyway. And then oh shit, I forgot. I actually got a Switch, so I can include this now. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Have you guys seen the trailer for that shit?
That's
I
like the
have
big,
not,
like,
but that
open
sounds
world,
really
like,
cool.
Pokemon game, right?
It is like
It's like a
like
Pokemon
the-
RPG.
it's like the
basically.
fucking Pokemon RPG we always dreamed of as kids.
Yeah.
Old, like,
it looks
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
With an old, like medieval Japanese aesthetic.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
These people are like
I'm not
riding like fucking Stantlers through fields and shit. And you're fighting. You can
Ghost
fight,
of Pikachu.
You can fight like corrupted. Fuck you. Fight like corrupted Pokemon as yourself, not your Pokemon. Like you have to like dodge
Ooh.
attacks and shit. It looks
Oh
so
my god!
fucking
You can
cool.
finally fight Pokemon with guns.
No. But seriously, it looks fucking incredible. I am so hyped.
I actually
That
hadn't
sounds
seen
really cool. I'm gonna have to check
anything
out stuff on that.
Yeah,
Pokemon
I hadn't
Legends
seen anything on it
Arceus.
Until like a few days
Look
ago,
up the
and I was
trailer.
like, I'm
So
not
cool.
like don't shoot me. I'm not like a big Pokemon guy.
This man didn't have a childhood.
But yeah, I none of my friends play Pokemon, so
What?
No.
Bitch, we're right here.
You know
I
what?
didn't know you guys yet.
You know what
But-
deterred me from a lot of Pokemon games? I only had a couple Pokemon games that I played.
Mm.
You know what deterred me from a lot of them?
What?
I felt it was a pet peeve of mine. You couldn't, and this is so run of the mill in Pokemon games that it's like, well, no shit, you're gonna encounter that in a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Walking through an area and being forced into a battle fucking pissed
Yeah.
me off so much. It was
Oh,
a pet peeve
God.
of mine, dude.
How do you
I
play
don't-
Final Fantasy then?
Well, no, that's the thing. Is like I still don't even play a lot of Final Fantasy games because
I hate
that
that too.
mechanic has
Or
annoyed the
Devil May
shit out of me
Cry,
from day
and
one.
they put up force fields, so it's like you can't run past them or anything. It's like, nope, fight these
No,
guys right here,
dude.
right now.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
I like Final Fantasy Tactics.
They try to sneak past someone and they just like whoop and like you're in a
Yeah,
battle now.
and I'd be like,
Yeah.
"Fuck!"
Yeah, every time.
Yeah,
Every
no,
time.
I'm actually looking forward kind of to this Pokemon game just because I'm like,
God, that
okay,
sounds
Look up the
really
trailer, man.
fun.
yeah,
It
no,
looks
I
so
watched
good.
it. I just watched it for the first time like a couple days ago, and I was like, I might actually play this.
And
This
it's
might
about
be the
Arceus.
game that actually I've never
That
played
comes
a Pokemon
out-
game, so this might actually be, unless you count Smash Bros. Because
That comes out
Pikachu's
in
in there or
23
whatever.
days. Holy shit.
What's in 23 days?
23 days.
Arceus, Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Oh,
it comes out the end of this month.
Wow, I didn't know it was that soon.
Whoa.
Wow, okay, yeah,
That's pretty tight.
that's a big one. I think a lot of people. I mean, it's Pokemon and it's on
To come
Nintendo
over and-
Switch. It's gonna sell like hotcakes. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh fuck
insane.
yeah!
They have any Pokemon game will sell a ton, and it's a game that I'm probably gonna be buying for my fiance because
Hell
she
yeah.
loves Pokemon. So
There you
I'm
go.
like, what's the new Pokemon you want? Okay, there you go. I don't keep up with them. I feel like they make so many, and they remake so many of the like old ones too. It's
Like,
just like
what's
it's
the new
insane.
Pokemon? What's the new Pokemon?
What's the new one? I can't keep up
Here,
with
here you
them.
go. I don't think I don't
That's
have to
the
get
one
you a ring for
pocket
another
of
month.
gaming that I can never keep up with is Pokemon
Yeah.
games. I can't. I've gotten better at it now, but that now that I kind of have to. But yeah, no, that's gonna be a big one. I think Pokemon. I'd forgotten about that one. And I know a little bit smaller because the game did already release on Switch, but Monster Hunter Rise I think is coming to PC also. It
I
came out
forgot
for the
into Monster
Switch.
Hunter.
Yeah, it came out on the Switch earlier last year, and now it's getting ported over to PC. Another port, also God of War, is coming to PC this month also.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I love how,
Sony's
like
been
all
porting-
these exclusives are being put on PC now. That's really nice.
Yeah, well, Sony waits like 3 or 4
Yeah.
years, so that way it's like, okay, everyone who wanted to play on PlayStation already did, so now they can just double dip and get more money from it.
Mhm.
But Microsoft, Windows and Xbox are very similar, so they just do them both, which is nice. PC gamers get kind of the best of both worlds, except they're never going to get Nintendo games. I'm sorry, just Emulators
That's
are all
never
you get for
happened.
that. You
Yeah,
can get
that's a
emulators.
given.
That
Nintendo
only
is
way you're gonna get that is
Nintendo.
pirate stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, Nintendo is a stickler about that.
I'm stickler about a lot of things, but we don't need to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's another episode.
Nintendo will
It's another
ever so
episode.
slightly remaster a game like Zelda Skyward Sword and sell it to you for $60 and sell a ton of copies because
Nintendo games never dip in price, which is
No.
insane to me.
They never dip in price, and they
No.
will always be bought. It's they have Nintendo has you know, what do I want to call it? It's like this nostalgia factor where even if the game isn't super old, they can re-release it, and it's like, oh, Skyward Sword.
Yeah,
They're like,
I still have my
Kirby,
Wii copy of
you
Zelda
know,
Skyward Sword.
string
I
or
thought
whatever.
it was a great game, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to play it again on the
Yeah.
Switch. I mean, it's not a bad game.
I always,
it's just it's
I always
old.
feel that way about Zelda games.
Even the
I'm playing through it,
remaster
and I'm like,
doesn't
fuck,
look
I'm putting it down.
that good. Yeah, and they're long too. Zelda games are usually pretty long. Breath of the Wild was like 50 hours.
Breath of the
just
Wild
doing
was
the
my
main
first Zelda game.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It was good. Yeah.
Did you beat the main story already?
No, not even close.
Yeah, it's like
I haven't
just-
even gotten to my first Divine Beast. Leave me
just
alone.
the
You can
story
get
is
you can
like-
get a motorcycle in that game.
What? I'm riding horses. What do you mean?
I know, right? Isn't that crazy?
Are you serious right now? You can get a motorcycle?
I think you can. I'm pretty sure
the
it's like a
fuck?
side. It's like a little side thing. I think you can.
Is it really? Huh.
I think
I-
so.
I finished the main story, but it was a long time ago. It was like
Yeah.
shortly after the game came out, so I
I
don't really.
just got a Switch like last month, so
Hey, join the club.
First Zelda game I ever played was Twilight Princess, the emo Zelda game where he like is able to turn into a wolf. go into, like, the shadow
oh
world.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Thing was
Did
the
you
game
ever-
was dark.
You guys ever play the fucking Sonic the Hedgehog? What was it
Sonic
called?
Unleashed?
Something Sonic Unleashed, yeah. Where you could turn
I
into a
never-
fucking were hedgehog.
I never played Sonic Unleashed.
I haven't played
It was
partly
fucking weird.
because, I'll be honest.
It wasn't good.
Yeah,
was on the
Sonic
Wii.
games for
I
me.
played it on the Wii.
Oh.
Sonic stopped being fun for me right at the time of Shadow the Hedgehog. Shadow the Hedgehog was like okay, I did play the Sonic Knights of the Round Table game on the Wii.
What?
Yes, I know that existed. It's really
What?
weird. It was a really weird game, but it was kind of cool. They had like all these different characters that were like Knights of the Round Table, and King Arthur was a bad guy and stuff, and it was kind of cool.
Hmm.
But it was still
Oh.
like meh. I mean,
Hmm.
well, I feel like all Sonic games are kind of like, okay, it was fun.
Hey, before we get too off topic, Peyton, I do want to hear what
We're
your
talking about Sonic all
actually,
of a
Nico,
sudden.
was that the end of your list?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Peyton, what games are you most looking forward to this year?
So I'm looking forward to a lot of similar games. Elden
cool.
Ring,
Yep.
top of the fucking list. I mean,
Oh,
that
Oh yeah.
that game is going to ruin my like work life. I'm
Same.
not going to be making as much money.
That's fine,
I'm going
fuck
to be
it.
taking less shifts. I'm going to be like Quagmire when he discovers internet porn. I'm going to be locked in my house for like 3 months just playing that game, and then I'm going to emerge like a chrysalis of a man. So
Oh,
Elden
yeah.
Ring, Dying Light 2, I'm super stoked for.
Yeah,
I
I
have
forgot about that.
purposefully only seen like one
watched-
trailer on
Yeah,
it.
I was about to say I've only watched one trailer and that's it. Because
And it was like one of the earliest trailers. It was
Me
like,
too.
okay,
Mine
Dying
was
Light
the
2's
first one.
announced. Here's a teaser. That was the only
Yep.
one I watched. I
Same.
want to save. I don't want to see what the mechanics are going to look like. I want it to be fresh for me, because Dying Light, when it first came out, I mean, that game, that was actually the first game I got on the Xbox One. And so it was like, I'm playing the Xbox One next gen, and then I'm playing Dying Light, which is basically first person Assassin's Creed with zombies.
you know what? I think you and I tried to do co-op. The when you
Did we?
when you first got it, because I remember because we were at Cart, and I remember you and I were trying to connect like in a lobby, and like it wasn't working for some reason. Like we were having trouble like staying in. I don't know if you remember that, but that was like the one.
I
that,
feel like I do, because
it was like a
around
one-time
it was a
thing.
cart.
Like we had just tried to play it together, and it wasn't working for some reason. I don't know if it was like their network wasn't good, but like I kept dropping out or something. Maybe my internet was bad.
Well, it was early. I mean, they've actually changed a lot of the co-op stuff because it was not super great at the beginning,
Well, that's
especially
good.
to be the zombie mode.
Oh yeah.
But they made that way more fun. I mean, like, I am super stoked to see what they do with it, especially with the co-op component, because it was already really, really fun to play with other people. So to see
Yeah.
what they do for Dying Light 2 is going to be, oh, I'm so
That's gonna
excited.
be a fun. That's gonna be a fun co-op game, and I think Elden Ring is gonna be a fun co-op game. I think we should try to
Yeah.
play that in
Yeah.
co-op.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Speaking of co-op, not a game that's coming out. It's already out, but the co-op is coming out this year. Halo Infinite. I feel like I'm really
Yeah,
excited
that
to play the
counts.
Halo Infinite campaign
Yeah.
on co-op with y'all.
Yeah, that'll
That's
be
gonna be
really cool.
sick. I've been waiting to play the co-op campaign, and I've been waiting to play the campaign until May because Prez wants to get a fresh, like, feel of the game, and I was like, I'll wait, and we'll play it. So I haven't
Oh yeah, I
actually.
totally agree with
It is
that.
technically a new game for me because I've never. I have not played, nor have I had anything spoiled about
The
the
campaign.
campaign.
There's a lot of people I know that are waiting to play the campaign specifically, excuse me, for the co-op. So I
I don't have an
mean,
excuse. I
yeah.
just haven't played it yet. Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
You
I
can
already
apologize
finished
for
the
that.
campaign, but I mean, I'll go through it
Yeah.
again. I don't mind.
So then I would say after that, I mean, like, okay, I don't have a PlayStation 5, so I'm not going to be able to play it myself, but I am really stoked to either play it at friends' houses or see it, and that's Horizon Forbidden
I got you, fam.
West. Yeah, I had a huge connection to that game, even though I never personally played it.
Their world building is
I
incredible. Like,
Yeah,
Unreal.
the world building was just amazing. The ideas that were in that game were so fresh to me that I can't wait to see what they do with the next one. Um, this is a recent. I don't actually know if it's coming out in 2022. So correct me, Garrett, if I'm wrong. If it's pushed further. But we were talking about it the other night because Garrett got me into. It's on Game Pass. Both of them are on Game Pass. Shadow Warrior, and it has now become one of my favorite fucking games I've ever played. And Shadow Warrior 3 is supposed to be coming out at
I
some
think
point.
it
Is that
is coming out
2022?
this year. I'm gonna look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure that's coming out this year. They released a new trailer for it or some gameplay. It was like a month or two ago. So I would imagine it's coming
Yeah,
out
that
this year. But
whenever the fuck that's
um,
coming out, I'm getting it. They're getting my
yeah,
money.
it
I
just
mean,
says
shit. I'm gonna
I'm sorry.
buy Shadow Warrior 2 after it leaves Game Pass.
Yeah,
Um,
it just says 2022. That's it. So
okay, probably the end
maybe
of
it'll come out.
2022 then.
Maybe it'll come out this year, maybe not. But yeah, that's gonna be a big one. I'm excited. I love the first game. I love the second game, and I mean,
God damn it, we're gonna love the third game.
they got me sold. I mean, the series has been good. So yeah, Shadow Warrior 3. If that does come out this year, that'll be a good one, I think.
And I Starfield. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually have any hype for it. It's not a
They
game
haven't
that
put out
has
a
been.
lot in terms of
Yeah,
I mean,
I haven't really
even
had
have
the
gameplay
fire
yet, do
lit.
we? I don't think we have gameplay
I
yet.
think
Nope.
we got gameplay like years ago of like
We
what
got
would
like
be a little test in a ship, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was it. It's not really gameplay.
Okay, yeah, because I
It's
know.
just like looking around the ship and like the character interacting with different stuff.
Yeah. I need to see more on the game. I mean, it's a Bethesda game. It's gonna be in Game Pass day one because, you know, Microsoft is now Microsoft and Bethesda are now one. So, I mean, I'm gonna be able to play the game at no additional cost anyway. So heck yeah, I'm gonna try it. But I'll be honest, yeah, my hype for it isn't as huge as most Bethesda games are, and that's really only because we just haven't seen a lot of it.
It's just a new IP. We don't know what to expect.
Yeah. I mean, we
yeah.
know what it's, you're basically, I know one of the developers compared it, he compared it to like a Han Solo video game. He's like, you're just this guy flying around the galaxy, making, making allies with different factions on these different worlds, and you're
So
just kind
Outer
of like,
Worlds.
a little bit, yeah. And I was just like, I'm like, okay, like, if you're
The
comparing
guys
it to
who made Fallout, the good one.
It's a
Yes.
one.
You guys remember that
Yeah.
fucking trailer?
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
I do. That was so I loved the setup for the Outer Worlds, man.
Outer Worlds was a great game.
It's an
and
okay game. I never finished it.
I will admit I started it, kind of fell out of it, and then I did go back and finish it, and I actually did really like it once I finished it. But
Might have finished it then.
yeah, it's pretty good. You can tell the budget's a little smaller, I think, than a regular Fallout game, but it's a
Yeah.
solid game. I mean, if you like Fallout, you'll like it.
Doesn't Microsoft, did they acquire
They did acquire Obsidian, but
Yeah.
I think the game was already in development before they acquired them.
Oh,
I
okay.
believe. So I think they had more funds towards the end. I'm not 100%
The
on
game,
that, but
the game idea and the game. So like people were buying. They had like a an early, like basically like a Patreon, not a Patreon. What's the? I mean, I guess it's kind of like Kickstarter, Patreon type thing, where it's like crowdfunding for the game or something like that. Early subscribers got access to different.
change.org or something. Or whatever.
They set up a bunch of WhatsApp accounts and were soliciting donations from. No, I saw that Tim actually showed me this because Tim Hart's been keeping track of Starfield for a really long time, and he showed me like that there's all these different tiers that people were able to buy into that got them different ships for the game, and there was one that was like, you know, an extraordinary amount of money donated to get this extraordinarily large ship in the game. So it's been around, and that was back in like 2017 or 2018 or something like that. So the idea has been around for a long time, and I know that Bethesda's been workshopping it for a really long time. But I still think that what they need to be working on, if they aren't already working on it, motherfucking Elder Scrolls 6.
We know they're not working on it.
I know.
They're gonna start it as soon as
They've said they aren't
releases.
working on it. Not yet, anyway.
Once Starfield releases, that team is moving to Elder Scrolls 6. So
yeah,
we're gonna have to wait a while for that. But yeah, I mean, I think Starfield is gonna be a pretty awesome game. It's one of the ones I'm looking forward to. And I'm excited to see where that goes. And a lot of awesome games are coming out this year, and I mean, again, a lot of these that were delayed, they were supposed to come out last year, they're coming out this year, so we're getting a whole flood of games, and it's gonna be really awesome. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this year. This is gonna be a great year for gaming. It's already been 2021 was a good year for gaming. 2022 is gonna be even better, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Great year.
I have kept you guys well past 9:15, but thank you for sticking with me. Always love talking with you guys.
Totally.
We're gonna wrap up this episode, and we'll be back again next week, hopefully with Prez. Great
Good
chatting
talking
with
you fellas.
See you guys in the next episode. Peace out.